This one's gonna be a bit spooky. Put on a good track. You know, the good shit. The jump scare. The jump scare has been a staple of the horror genre since its birth. A shocking reveal or a quick burst of adrenaline to keep your audience paranoid and involved in the horror. The most amateur student film can pull off a good jump scare. It's the easiest thing, and that's why you see them overused so much in today's films. But then on the other end of the spectrum, hey, David Lynch, Kubrick, even Alfred Hitchcock can understand the significance of a good jump scare. After all, the cinema is a carnival, and a haunted house ride are the best of times. So try not to turn away from the screen, leave out the cheap scare shit, and let's dive in. Oh yeah, who's this then? Number 10! Number 10, Alien, 1979. Now, this is my personal favourite horror and sci-fi, and it remains a classic to this day. Alien is different, it's no stereotypical horror movie. Lots of its scares are subconscious and hit you on a weird psychological level. With its sexual imagery, body horror, and it plays on the subtler fears. Claustrophobia, terrifying nightmare bugs, and rape. Those last two aren't really irrational though. So you'd think the film wouldn't have any space for jumps. Looks like Tom Skerritt needs to play more Alien Isolation. That dude lasted like, what, 40 minutes? This jump only works because the alien is the unknown. It's important to remember that the xenomorph has, since the 1970s, become a really big pop culture staple. So, watching nowadays, we know its iconic abilities, we know what it looks like, and its presence is a bit more common than it would have been back in the day. So there's a certain elusive mystery which is lost on us audiences right now. But then, this film just sort of lures the audience into a false sense of security because the alien is always subtly just in frame. That's almost anti-jump scare and way freakier. Some part of its body will just reside in shot, be it the hanging tail among the wires, coming out of Jen Hurt's little tummy, or even at one point just laying right in frame camouflage. We see you. Which makes it all the more shocking when the beast appears in its entirety, mere inches from the camera, screaming. Oh, you almost got me there. Number 9. C7N. 7. Detective thrillers are hardly known for their inclusion of horror cliches. Like, no one was expecting a jump scare from Morgan Freeman movie. But David Fincher's 7, still weird, gets a pass due to the genuine revulsive atmosphere of the film. Like, there's imagery and crime scenes here which literally earn the real usage of the word horror. And here we have our boys Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman trying to not make eye contact with this festering corpse in the middle of the room. This is the scene which often makes or breaks an audience goer. Like, I've definitely been in screenings where this scare is just too much for some.
He's laughing at us. You got what you deserved. He's alive! He's alive! The cocksucker's alive! Stop breathing! Comes down! Emergency on that ambulance!
And it's honestly hard to blame them. It leaves a print, because why would the body still be alive? Who would have even considered that? Like, nobody guessed that, right? Why would there be a jump in a David Fincher crime flick? Also, fun fact, take note of Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman's terrified faces, considering they were completely genuine. They were not informed that there was a third actor in the room. They thought that was just a prop. Just one scene, the arguably worst sin of the film, pushes the movie into severe, not okay territory. Oh, what's this, man? Oh, Scary Book? Oh no, number 8. 2015's audience-splitting found footage film found its characters being harassed and hunted via their laptop screens in the comfort of their own houses. Picked off one by one, witnessed by the audience through Facebook and Skype, it created a film where the angles, music, and exposition are all delivered via tabs. Just screen capture, a computer screen. It sounds incredibly pandering and non-dramatic, but it's oddly personal, and the film totally works. People don't want to admit it, but the film is way too close to home to not be scary. Hey, even if you're not scared by this movie, if the tension isn't working for you, the immersion is. Because you see, it's automatic. This probably is the most technically impressive jump in this entire list just because of the insane amount of prep time that went into it. I'm impressed. The audience, having spent the last 90 minutes in the confines of a laptop screen, that's now the film's entire world. So, boom. Credits roll. Whilst Unfriended may not be the most inspired or timeless horror, it unarguably has moments of well-designed atmosphere and earned scares. Slamming that laptop screen, you just shattered their entire world. It's an angle that a jump can get you where you didn't even know it could get you. Unfriended lures the audience in, only to pull them out, as it's disorientating as it is manipulative, and it's one of the best scares I've ever seen.
Come and play with the boy, number 7.
Insidious, 2011. Paranormal spooks during seances. It's hardly an original horror cliche, yet somehow Insidious still manages to get ya. It's not a particularly clever or discreet film, so why does this moment send such a chill down the spine? As the table begins to delve deeper into the demon world, they're joined at the table as a horrible red face lurks behind Josh's head. The face smoothly slides into shot with a casual focus that shouldn't be as scary as it is. It's not a full-on jump, but oh my god does it feel unnatural. Hey, it's Darth Maul! And the scene actually really gets to me. and that image, that one right, that's one of the main reasons I've not revisited the Insidious series. Fuck this movie. Turn it off. I like my scares quick, sudden, and preferably not making direct eye contact with me. Take that terrifying direct mode of address shit back to your further dimension where it belongs. Number 6. The Dark Knight. Harvey Dent business meetings are hardly the selling factor to a Batman movie. No one wants to sit through a business conference when Batman could be out on the street killing guys. And whilst the Nolan trilogy amps up the realism and inner city conflict, there's also no scene that goes by without a thrill or a purpose. Every scene keeps the plot moving. What, you thought we were just gonna have a scene where two guys just sit down and talk politics?
Anything on you. And those criminals are back on the streets, followed swiftly by you and me.
Say hello to your antagonist, people. Bad cosplay, bro. The Dark Knight, the most popular superhero movie, is not the kind of film you'd expect a jump scare from. And the way it feels over like half of the screen is our first sign that this is going to be a very different kind of Batman movie. What an introduction. It's a single jump that few remembers even coming, because it's so mundane. What's in here? Oh, it's Dead Girl. It's Dead Girl.
Thank you for this magic ring, Uncle Bilbo.
Back, fuckers! Uncle Bilbo, you can't fucking have this ring anymore, you fucking addict. Get yourself cleaned up. Ah, guys, these scares are really getting to me. Number 4 is... Oh. Nope. Hey, you can't come in here. Oh, who's it? Who's this? Oh, it's got... I know this dude. Number 4 is Carrie. Perhaps the original founder of the modern jump scare, this Stephen King adaptation managed to walk the line between drama and horror. Whilst investing audiences with the complex mother-daughter relationship, the film also refuses to hold back once the paranormal shit gets started. Carrie plays out as a kind of a horror icon origin story, and whilst Carrie gets quite bloody, there's only one true shock moment in the picture. Its ending. Bam, 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 bam. Horrible music. Oh, that music is just... it burns. This kind of jump to this extremity simply wasn't done in the 1970s. It was one of the first films to end on a scare like this. But it certainly wouldn't be the last one. Sue awakes shaking, revealing the whole scene to be but a dream. One that'll haunt her forever. I'm talking about teenagers' dreams.
Number 3.
It's Nightmare on Elm Street 1984. Freddy's happy ending. Horror films are hardly notorious for their happy endings. When the horror classics focus around a neighborhood of children getting butchered in their sleep, you'd hope at least one undeserving young teen could be spared. Just one get out alive. Well, don't worry, because the plucky, young, and keen to not die protagonist Nancy finally confronts Freddy Krueger in his own dream. She brings him into the real world and defeats Freddy fucking Krueger in the first film. It's insane. After surpassing her own adversities and completing her own character development arc, she leaves the house. And there she struts, confident with her decision and ready to leave the nightmarish fear-mongering of Freddy behind. Oh look, Mum isn't dead. That's great. She joins her friends in her car. Oh, Johnny Depp, everyone's here. But the car drives off. A car striped in red and green. The same colour as Freddy's sweater. Oh, he got played the whole time. The car traps her inside as Freddy gets the final laugh, still in the dream the whole time. Just weird. Just a weird, unsettling jump. See, can we just talk about its ending real quick? It's a particularly cruel ending, and it's an unexpected jump, because it really is just so incredibly undeserved. It surprisingly was not the original ending of the film. Wes Craven, who wrote the screenplay, intended it to be a happy ending. Although if we know anything from the endless series of sequels, Freddy never really loses, and there are always more children to butcher on Elm Street. Hey, cash in on that franchise brand recognition money! And whilst they weren't all gold, the final scare paved the way for Freddy Krueger to become one of horror's most iconic characters. Number 2. Ah! Mulholland Drive is as far from conventional horror as you can get. A surrealist, ambiguous black magic movie. You can debate, what does horror mean? Does it you have to have a scary man? Does he have to jump at you with the knife? I think as long as you create an atmosphere of sublimated dread, anything can count as horror. David Lynch, as a director, should be like the last guy to use the Hollywood exploitative device of the jump scare, right? But this scene in this film are anything but traditional. Describing a terrible nightmare to his friend, Dan tells the horrible face around the back of the diner they're sitting in. With support, they go to prove that it wasn't real. The two approach the corner. There couldn't be anything really there. Could there? No, of course not. Dreams are dreams. So, why is the camera taking so long to get there? Movie, you don't understand. You don't create suspense if there's nothing there, which means that there's something there. And all this time, the Hollywood sun blares. Natural light just fills the lens. Daytime in these types of movies indicates safety. You don't get a jump in the middle of the day in a busy street because that just wouldn't get you. With nowhere for the jumps to hide, the audience naturally lowers their guard. With the slow pan, sound beats and cues, and the lack of dialogue, there's a strange classical build-up to this, which means that there has to be something at the end. Scary on the surface due to traditional methods, but it's also deeply disturbing because our sense of reality has been altered. It took me about the third rewatch to realise why I felt so unnaturally unsettled. Because something don't feel right. The truth, right, is the implication of the upset, the wrong of dream logic. And it is wrong. At this moment, Dan faints, possibly even dies, as his role in this fantasy is over. But how much of it was real? It's uncertain and still debated today, but the unanimous shared takeaway is that it's fucking scary. Oh, number 1, The Nightmare 2014. I've spoken about this movie before and I hate it every single time. But can this bastard movie stop coming up, please? 2014 documentary The Nightmare is by far the most fear-inducing movie this writer has ever seen. Posing itself as half informative documentary for sleep paralysis experiences, and half horror film, showing completely terrifying and cinematic visuals for these stories. So the interviewer asked the contributor about their stories and their nightmarish experiences in detail, but then that sort of turns into narration as we smoothly cut to the dark bedroom visuals, establishing unspoken cinematic rules of separation. Now there have been jump scares prior to this point in the movie, of course, it's a long film, But the nightmare has this really good strategy where it makes you the victim. Spiders, to silhouette men, to aliens attack the viewer directly, but there's only the final major scare that invades its way beyond that. More than a movie should, in my opinion. The final recounted story reaches its certain climax, cutting erratically between horror visuals and the interviewee. And I'll just show you the little bit out of context. You can see for yourself.
Sort of laying in my bed, and then there's now a loud noise, and I hate the sound of the noise. It's like almost like spirits or demons like kind of like screaming at you. So then you hear it's almost like a buzzing that starts, and then I can sense a presence like standing over me, just standing right here next to me on my bed, standing over me. Then you hear like this sound. It feels like somebody's screaming right in your ear. Like they're right here and they're screaming.
Oh, the border between reality and the dream has been broken. The movie lured us. It lured us into a false sense of security that we would be safe when in the documentary half of the movie. Nope, nothing's safe. The audience has just shit their pants. Jump scares are a quick and quite basic cinematic device to create instant paranoia and tension. Although tension can sometimes be mistaken for atmosphere by both filmmakers and filmgoers alike, it's undeniable that the quick burst of adrenaline has created for many iconic moments, from Jaws to Evil Dead. The modern horror genre, as it is today, may be guilty of overindulging in the cliche, making modern day jump fests. It just sort of cheapens the thrill and it doesn't stick with you. But this is simply because many contemporary horror films now don't attempt to be long lasting. The jump scare is an instantaneous, trusty, and sometimes shallow way of emulating investment by involving the audience as a participant. Well, personally for me, Halloween never really ends, it's every single day, but I hope you had a really good one. Have a nice night, guys.